Yes. And so we are talking with Ms. Sylvia Lemus in regards to, just updates in general. How are the numbers nowadays in regards to COVID?
Yes, well, there was a little delay in the numbers because of the president election, but we do have numbers for you as of yesterday. We have a total of confirmed cases, 10,041 confirmed cases here in Sonoma County, which is an increase in the last 24 hours of 88 cases.
Okay.
Um, we have a total, unfortunately, of 142 deaths, which day before yesterday, we had 6 additional deaths. And so we were at 136 for a while and holding, and we had 6 additional deaths. So now we're at 142 in COVID deaths here in Sonoma County. And we have completed a total of 223,784 coronavirus tests have been completed here in Sonoma County.
Definitely. And again, that
Mhm,
means that it looks like people are getting tested. That means we're going to
mhm,
catch more cases
mhm,
just because you're doing more tests, and people need to
mhm.
understand that. Good. And we'll talk more about testing in a few minutes. But as far as reopening, how is it
Mhm.
looking? I mean, we unfortunately
Yeah,
just lost 6 additional members of our community. That doesn't
yes.
help our case, I'm sure.
Mhm. Well, as you know, that the level that we're assigned, the tier that we're at, is based on the California on local COVID-19 metrics and based on the California the plan for safer economy, blueprint for safer economy. So based on last week's numbers and this week's numbers, they were a little delayed, but we still remain in the purple tier. So our daily case rate per 100,000 is at 10.2. And we needs to be below 7 in order for us to be able to move to a less restrictive tier. So that's one of the reasons that's keeping us from moving into a less restrictive tier, the red tier. Our positivity rate is 5.2%, and it must be lower than 8%. So we are low enough in our positivity case rate is good. It's 5.2, which is less than 8%. And our equity rate right now is our equity metric testing positivity is 8.9%, which the metric must be lower than 8% in order for it to allow us to move into a less restrictive tier. So as you can see, we're kind of good in some and not so well in doing not so well in the others. In order to move to the red tier, Sonoma County must either meet the state benchmarks for all three metrics for 2 weeks, or we have to meet the test positivity benchmark and have an equity metric of less than 2%, 5% for 2 weeks. And even if the case rate is still above their benchmark. So we still haven't met any of that. And we still have some work to do and want, like I said, to get more people tested so that we can identify and isolate and do whatever we need to do. If people want more information on this, they can visit the website for the State of California Blueprint for the Safer Economy for more information.
And then that moves us into another point of interest, and that is it safe to travel for the holidays? We know that we just had Halloween, soon we'll have Thanksgiving, and then eventually we'll have different holidays for different individuals. Is it safe to travel? What does the county
Yeah.
have to say?
Well, what we're saying is the safest thing to do is stay home with your own household members and limit your visits to public places. So we don't recommend that people travel. The health officer for Sonoma County is really strongly recommending that individuals avoid traveling long distance for the holidays and vacations. And those who are sick, especially, or are sheltering with someone who is sick or that have COVID symptoms, in the last 2 weeks should not travel. Um, Also, visiting elderly or immune compromised relatives without practicing strict precautions or taking COVID-19 tests first to prevent transmission is strongly discouraged. There's a lot of COVID in the community all across the state and other places. Even if you go to Mexico or other places, COVID is still around in the community. So we really want to keep people safe. Those that are in your household and even those that you plan on visiting, we want to keep everyone safe. For people that really choose to travel, we ask that they follow the CDC guidelines for travel within the United States. They can find it on the CDC website. And we ask people to remember to use facial coverings, physical distancing, proper hygiene. But it's up to everyone to really do our part. Here in Sonoma County, we want to reopen schools and businesses, and we all have to be responsible for where the county is in this epidemic. So all the decisions of everyone individually is really going to affect the overall health of the community.
Definitely. And is there, as we talk about people getting sick or taking care of people who are sick, is there any form of emergency sick leave available in the county?
Yes, yes, there is. I know you've asked me about this before, but for employees who work in unincorporated areas of Sonoma County, this ordinance, we have an ordinance that passed around August, September, but it only affects unincorporated areas because that's where the Board of Supervisors reach is for making ordinances. So for employees who work in unincorporated areas and they're at risk of losing wages because they're sick or caring for someone with COVID, there is the paid sick leave ordinance that can provide relief. Once the employee has worked more than 2 hours for an employer in the county's unincorporated area, then they qualify for the supplemental paid sick leave. This means that they can request wage replacement if they miss work because they've contacted COVID-19 or are caring for someone, an immediate family member, a person who regularly resides in the home, an employee's home, a similar person with whom the employee has a relationship that creates an expectation that they have to care for that person. So those are the different type of criteria. So qualifying care includes self-isolating or self-quarantining or assisting someone that has to isolate or quarantine. Under this ordinance, full-time employees who normally schedule to work 40 hours or more hours per week are entitled to up to 80 hours of this supplemental leave, paid leave. Part-time employees normally scheduled to work fewer than 40 hours are entitled to an amount of this supplemental paid leave that's no greater than the employee's average number of work hours. The employer must provide the payment. The employee has to do a written request, which includes an email or a text to kind of advise them that they're asking for this supplemental paid leave. And if the employer refuses, the employee has resources. They can contact the California Rural Legal Assistance or Legal Aid of Sonoma County to learn about options. And I can give you their numbers. California Rural Legal Assistance, the number is 800-357-9513, or Legal Aid of Sonoma County is 707-308-2512. I'm sorry.
In regards to other projects that are being made available, as
Mhm,
we know, the indigenous communities of
mhm,
Sonoma County as well as the Latinx community had been
mhm,
affected at a greater degree by COVID.
mhm.
What is the Kuda project?
Yes, the Kuda Project, it's a project through La Plaza Nuestra Cultura Cura, which is a program of On the Move. And so the Kuda Project is a collaboration of community-based organizations. So it's not just La Plaza, but it's other community-based organizations around the county that are going to be connecting and focusing on Latinx and Indigenous communities of Sonoma County. And they're going to connect them to COVID testing, healthcare, isolation care, emergency financial assistance, and other needed resources. And they will also be matched with a case manager that will help them in whatever way to possible and help them apply for assistance. So their phone number, I think I shared that with
Yeah,
you.
it is 707 three
Mhm,
nine three eight
mhm.
seven zero zero seven zero
Yes.
seven 393 8700. That's really important for,
Mhm.
again, people to reach out and get those resources. And again, in regards to funds, what can you tell us about the care funds that were available there for a minute?
Yes, the CARES funds, the board had approved it and they're still available. It's a short-term emergency rental assistance for low-income tenants and landlords. So this funding really is it's about 1.7 million, I think it is, but it's estimated to be able to help about 1,000 households, depending on the amount of assistance needed per household, and the nonprofit's kind of program design. But the residents can receive up to 6,000 for 6 months of rental assistance, which can be used for back payments or utilities. To ensure that those that need it the most, applications require that they demonstrate that they lived at the residence and provide appropriate documentation or paperwork indicating their loss of job or income loss due to the pandemic. The eligible applicants have to demonstrate that they haven't been able to pay rent or have not received rental payments for the period of time from any period of time from March 1st when the pandemic started as a direct consequence of COVID. So that information is available, and it's available through. I can go ahead and go into some of the places.
Definitely.
Yeah, we have four nonprofits that are administering these applications and the funds, so they can contact West County Community Services. Their number is 707-823-1640. Friends in Sonoma Helping, their number is 707-996-0111. Petaluma People Services, 707-765-8488, or Community Action Partnership, and their number is 707-544-6911.
Definitely. And
Mhm.
last but not least, we do have only
Mhm.
about a minute left here.
Yeah. Mhm.
You are doing more testing all over the county. What should we know about that?
Yes, we're doing a lot more testing. So every day we have testing sites all over the county. For example, tomorrow we're having a run at park from 9 to 11 at the Burton Avenue Recreation Center and also at the Smart and Final Shopping Center in Santa Rosa from 1:30 to 4. So people can call the phone number if they're not sure where so they can make an appointment. The number they can call is 565-4667. And like I said, there's testing like from every day of the week almost. And if they call that number, they can make an appointment. And there's also some financial incentives that are being offered to take the test. And also, if you have to isolate, there are some incentives that they'll be providing as well.
Definitely. And with that, I want to make sure that people know that this Saturday, Líderes del Futuro, this show, will be collaborating with Mecha de SRJC, Logrando Éxito Académico, and Humanidad Therapy and Educational Services. And we're going to be at 9001 Windsor Road in Windsor, California, and we are going to be giving away little baggies that are going to have masks. They are going to have antibacterial, like little bottles. And then we're going to have a little bit of information about testing, which was provided to us by the county. And this is going to happen from 12 until 2 p.m. at, again, 9001 Windsor Road in Windsor, California. Again, we are inviting everybody in the community. I just picked up the masks this afternoon. So we are ready to go. And then we are hoping to have a couple more events, including one in Petaluma and one either in Sebastopol or Guerneville. So more details on the other two very, very soon. And with that, I want to thank you.
Thank you,
And
Rafael.
again,
Pleasure
you're
being here.
always making the time, and I appreciate that. And
You're
you're
welcome.
always answering my text messages in the middle of the night when I have all these questions. So again, I want to
Anytime.
thank you for that,
You're
and I
welcome.
look forward to our next conversation next week.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Rafael.
Take
Bye bye.
care. Bye.